Hello. Oh, direct from the sea.
Yeah, straight from the sea.
Oh,
Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to exciting vlog from Tenerife. Today we're gonna go for Pelada whale watching tour, and after that we're gonna do some snorkeling. Here we are boarding on this boat. So the port for the boats for whale watching tour was on the same beach as we finished the day yesterday, the Los Cristianos beach. And you can book the ticket in one of the tour agencies on the beach. They also provide other activities like mountain biking and also sell tickets for the lift to El Teide. And I think the ticket for this tour was 25 euros per person. So as we're leaving the port, you can see the hill at the beach of Los Cristianos, which is also popular for runners and hikers. And here is a tour guide. Now she's explaining the history of creation of Canary Islands as volcanoes. So since we arrived to Tenerife, we didn't see any of the higher hills because they're all in the clouds. And it's crazy to think that the highest hill of Spain, El Teide, it's somewhere hidden in those clouds. So I guess the whales and dolphins are farther out in the sea because it's too busy for them near the coast. And as I was reading before, their favorite food, the lobsters, are deeper in the sea, 900 meters deep, which is farther away from the coast. And here you can see picture of animals that are living near Tenerife. So these are migratory animals like different kind of whales and also turtles. And here there are some rarely seen animals. So you can see there are also some orcas and bigger whales and also dolphins. And here you can see some pictures of the bigger whales that were spotted here. So I think this is really rare, but you can see they're sometimes here as well. So it took about 30 minutes until we saw the first whales. So this footage doesn't really show anything, but my mom saw some fins of the whales. And here you can already see the pilot whales in the distance. It's still not a good footage, but you can recognize something. And at this point there are more of them. They're closer to the boat, but you could still only see their fins above the water. And then we start to see them closer and also getting out of the water more. So whales and dolphins are actually mammals, so they have to breathe air just like other mammals. And the hippos are their closest relatives. Whales range in size from the 2.6 meters and 135 kilograms dwarf sperm whale to the 29.9 meters and 190 metric tons blue whale, which is the largest creature that has ever lived. Pilot whales generally take several breaths before diving for a few minutes. Feeding dives may last over 10 minutes. They are capable of diving to depths of 600 meters, but most dives are to a depth of 30 to 60 meters. Shallow dives tend to take place during the day, while deeper ones take place at night. When making deep dives, pilot whales often make fast sprints to catch fast-moving prey such as squid. There are two species of pilot whales, the long-fin pilot whales that live in colder waters and short-fin pilot whales that live in tropical and subtropical waters. Both species live in groups of 10 to 30, but some groups may number 100 or more. Pilot whales are among the largest of the oceanic dolphins, exceeded in size only by the killer whale. They and other large members of the dolphin family are also known as blackfish. Pilot whales feed primarily on squid, but will also hunt large demersal fish such as cod and turbot. They are highly social and may remain with their bird pod throughout their lifetime. A study of short-fin pilot whales off the southwest coast of Tenerife in the Canary Islands has found the members of a pod maintain contact with each other through call repertoires unique to their pod. A later study found when foraging at around 800 meters deep, short-fin pilot whales make tonal calls. The number and length of the calls seem to decrease with depth despite being farther away from the conspecifics of the surface. As such, the surrounding water pressure affects the energy of the calls, but it does not appear to affect the frequency level. When in stressful situations, pilot whales produce shrills or plaintive cries, which are variations of their whistles. The size and weight depend on the species, as long-fin pilot whales are generally larger than short-fin pilot whales. Their lifespans are about 45 years in males and 60 years in females for both species. For short-fin pilot whales, adult females reach a body length of about 5.5 meters, while males reach 7.2 meters and may weigh up to 3,200 kilograms. And this is the sound of pilot whales you would hear underwater. Pilot whales emit echolocation clicks for foraging and whistles and burst pulses as social signals to keep contact with members of their pod. With active behavior, vocalization are more complex, with less active behavior is accompanied by simple vocalizations. When resting, simple whistles are emitted. Surfacing behavior is accompanied by more complex whistles and pulsed sounds. And then we experienced the best moment of the tour. The baby and the mother were swimming really close by the boat. Data suggests both males and females remain in their mother's pod for life. Despite this, inbreeding within a pod does not seem to occur. During aggregations, males will temporarily leave their pods to mate with females from other pods. After mating, a male pilot whale usually spends only a few months with a female, and an individual may sear several offspring in the same pod. The calf nurses for 3 years, although lactation usually lasts longer, allowing for extensive mother-calf bonds. Short-fin pilot whale with females will go through menopause, but this is not as common in females of long-fin pilot whales. Post-reproductive females will continue to lactate and nurse young. Since they can no longer bear young of their own, these females invest in the current young. Short-fin pilot whales grow more slowly than long-fin pilot whales. For the short-fin pilot whale, females become sexually mature at 9 years old and males at about 13 to 16 years. Now let's talk about fishing and how eating fish is destroying the environment, also for the whales that people come to watch. 3/4 of the world's fisheries are exploited or depleted. As many as 2.7 trillion animals, which is about 90 to 100 million tons of fish, are pulled from oceans each year. We could see fishless oceans by 2048. For every 1 pound of fish caught, up to 5 pounds of unintended marine species are caught and discarded as bykill. As many as 40%, 63 billion pounds of fish caught globally every year are discarded. Scientists estimate as many as 650,000 whales, dolphins and seals are killed every year by fishing vessels. Pilot whales have also fallen victims to bycatches. In 1 year, around 30 short-fin pilot whales were caught by the squid roundhole fishery in Southern California. Likewise, California's drift gill net fishery took around 20 whales a year in the mid-1990s. In 1998, 141 whales caught on the east coast of the US were taken by the foreign Atlantic mackerel fishery, which forced it to be shut down. About 40 to 50 million sharks are killed in fishing lines and nets each year. Other marine mammals, pilot whales are susceptible to certain pollutants. Of the Faroes, France, the UK and the eastern US, pilot whales were found to have been contaminated with high amounts of DDT and PCB. In both Japan and the Faroe Islands, the meat is contaminated with mercury and cadmium, causing a health risk for those who frequently eat it. In November 2008, an article in New Scientist reported that research done on the Faroe Islands resulted in 2 chief medical officers recommending against the consumption of pilot whale meat, considering it to be too toxic. In 2008, the local authorities recommended that pilot whale meat should no longer be eaten due to the contamination. This has resulted in a reduced consumption. And people think that eating other fish is any healthier. I don't think so. Still has lots of mercury, cadmium and other heavy toxins. And here you can see the fish farm just off the coast, probably also full of toxins, also unsustainable for the environment. Alright guys, we are back at the port. It was interesting to see pilot whales for the first time. Also we learned more information about these creatures. And as we did this activity in the morning, we still have a whole day in front of us. So we're gonna go to another beach and do some snorkeling. So the beach we have chosen to go, it's called Playa Pelada and it's closer to El Medano beach. So we parked the car next to the road and then we had to get down to the beach. After about 2 minutes we got down to the beach, Playa Pelada, and it seems like a nice beach with this black sand, and it seems like a more quiet, hidden beach, maybe good for nudism. And right by the beach you have these overhang cliffs which are great for the shadow, and also some hills that I'm gonna check out later. So for now we decided to go more further on the left to see if there is anything interesting.
Is the whole universe.
So these cliffs look great for rock climbing, but when you actually touch the rock it's pretty loose. So to do actual rock climbing would be pretty dangerous, so I'm just gonna try a little bit of scrambling here. So up there was actually a pretty good path to walk on, but I had to be careful not to fall down the cliff. And here is the GoPro footage of me and Jacob playing around in the waves. Here we went to the second place where we're gonna try to record a little bit more waves with the GoPro, and also I'm gonna do some more snorkeling later on by the coastline. So the water was too cold for Sanya and Jacob, so I went by myself, and after a few minutes of swimming above the sand I finally got to some corals, and I also saw some fish, so hopefully I'm gonna see also some bigger fish here. So if you come for snorkeling to Tenerife, definitely bring or rent a wetsuit, because the water is quite cold and it becomes pretty uncomfortable after a few minutes of swimming. Just can't enjoy snorkeling as much when you're so cold. And I can take cold much better than other people because I'm doing cold showers and whatnot, so I can imagine how uncomfortable this must feel for other people. So I was hoping to see some bigger fish, not just these small fish, but it just goes to show how overfished the oceans and seas are. The expert, as I said before, predict the fishless oceans by 2048, which is pretty sad. So even if you don't care about the life of fish itself, at least you should care about the environment, and especially if you believe in future generations to enjoy snorkeling, you should stop eating fish. And also when snorkeling, it's great to have fins because you can swim much faster and also go much deeper during the shorter time. So here I'm trying to go deep to record this fish, but I don't have fins, so it's taking me a lot of air, a lot of energy to get down. But if I had fins, I could stay here much longer because I would get down much quicker and also get quicker to the fish, because the bigger fish are usually deeper, like you can see these ones. And here I've seen a perfect tunnel to swim through, but it was quite deep and the water down there is really cold. So every time we go for vacation to some destination at the sea, I like to swim and snorkel along the coast. And every time I go out and swim, I try to set some point as the final destination. Like for example here, this reef in front of me. But sometimes even when I get there, I want to swim more because I see another better point and I would still think I have a time. And I also found out that it's easy to lose a sense of time when you're out snorkeling and exploring. So what in your head seemed like half an hour might have already been 1 hour. So that's why it's important to always bring a waterproof watch with you, so you know how much time you've been out there, because your family or friends can be really worried about you if you're not coming back in time that you told them, which actually I did a few times already. But even if you have a watch with you and you count your time, for example, you count half an hour swimming there and half an hour back, it might actually take you double longer time on the way back if you're swimming against the waves and the currents or even strong winds. So you have to be really cautious and aware of your environment and kind of feel when you are getting out how strong is the current, which way is the wind blowing and how strong it is, and try to kind of swim there and back and see how fast you're progressing, and from there you will know kind of how much time it will take you on the way back. And here I think I captured a shark on the video. If it's some other fish, for those who know, comment down below, but I think it looks like a shark. So I didn't want to dive deep to him because I was afraid he would bite me, but it was really fascinating to see a creature like this in here. So I expected many more fish on these coral reefs, but I was happy to see some of those big fish and also the little shark. So this is the place where I saw that big orange fish on the way there. Now there's still some fish here, but it was quite deep, so I could only stay there for a few seconds, and it was also really cold down there. Okay, so I'm already swimming over the sand, so I'm pretty close to the beach. I'm pretty cold, so that's why the footage is quite shaky as well. So if we're ever gonna come to Canary Islands again, I would definitely bring or rent a wetsuit. And here I'm finishing the day with climbing up this little hill and jumping in the sand dunes. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this vlog from Tenerife of whale watching and snorkeling. Next adventure will be hiking the stunning Masca Mountain, so stay tuned for that. And as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.